Hi, Carl. How are you doing today?
I say again. Say again.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. I'm sorry. I've been away. I've been out of town. I had a wedding to go to, and I'm back. And Thanksgiving, I might be away again, but I'm good for the rest of the time.
Okay.
So I'm sorry I didn't notify you, but it was a nice wedding. We had to go to St. Louis.
Okay, I'm glad that you enjoyed yourself. Family
It
always
was
comes
wonderful. It was
first.
nice to get away.
Yeah. As I say, family always comes first.
Yeah, we saw that we came in. We had them from all over, including Hawaii. It was really nice
Mhm.
and really nice. So it's good to be home. It was a great trip. And we took everybody after the wedding. It was a 3 day wedding. Yeah. And after that, instead of coming home, everybody got on a plane and went to Las Vegas for a couple of days and then came home.
Okay.
It was really nice, very nice. But it's nice to be home. Nice to talk to you, and nice to be back.
Right. We had a nice crowd. We kept it like around 15 every week. About different people every week.
Right, right.
Same people.
Well, you do a great job, and I in a way it might be thankless, but I think what you do is important, and it's really nice.
And you have to keep the music going during the pandemic.
Well, well, I think you're pretty special. So I just want to thank you personally for all the hard work you do.
Okay, thank you very much. Did you get your third shot yet?
Yeah, yeah,
I did. We got it last Monday. We got it.
yeah. Next time I go into a bar, I'll get my fourth one. Yeah, I got it. My wife got it, but we got a mixed marriage. She's a Moderna and I'm a Pfizer.
Okay. And we're both Moderna.
Yeah, so we got that done.
It turned out
And
that the pharmacy we have in a shopping center adjacent to our complex, and there's a tiny little 2x4 pharmacy which no one ever heard of. He has all three vaccines. He,
yeah,
just
that's
walk in,
great.
he takes walk-ins and no problem.
So if it's a Yiddish neighborhood, he could put an OU in front of the window.
It's a traditional neighborhood, but he's from India, the owner.
Yeah, he's from India.
Yeah, he advertises we speak Hindi over here. Yeah.
Yeah, the only word I know in Hindi is sukriya, which is thank you. Toda rabah. So when you go in there, you can tell him sukriya. If he's from the northern part of India, he'll know what that means. He'll light up.
uh, so it was great. We got in there with no problems. There's no shortages anyway. You can go in, you can get it.
It's wonderful. Well, in the beginning, it was impossible to get a shot. Uh, I finally had to go to the active duty component of the military to get mine, and for my wife actually, and fortunately we made it to Publix before the vaccine came in from the military.
Uh,
So we were kind of lucky. If we wouldn't get it from Publix, then we would go to the Army and get it actually. So it worked out pretty good, and that's out of the way. And by the way, while we're alone, I want to apologize. If I leave early, it's because I'm a caregiver for my wife,
I know
and
you got to pick her up. I know. I know.
right. So I'm not trying to be rude, and I appreciate everybody, and please excuse me, but I just have to an
I know.
obligation.
I realize that at a certain time you have to go.
Yeah,
Ever since the
thanks.
beginning, I remember that.
Yeah, she had a stroke way back, and she's doing good, but she needs assistance.
Yeah, I know. I realize it. We all got to that age, though, when we need
Yeah,
it.
yeah, everybody. So other than that, and down the road, I'm not sure. I may be away for a couple of days. I don't have. I may have some surgery coming up in December. I'm not sure yet.
Anything serious or just elective?
Can be. They detected it on time, and it's not an emergency, but I got to have it done.
Uh,
My lung. They found out you can't even see it with the naked eye. You've got to use an electronic microscope. There's a little bit of a cancerous growth in there, and they can get it. And they went in. I asked for a test, and they found something there. So it just has to be taken care
Well,
of.
you shouldn't wait for something like that. You don't want it to spread.
No, no, but it's under several doctors' scrutiny. I'm still, I have to do a biopsy, and they just have to make sure it's being cooked, being looked at right now. They're not rushing until they're sure what what all the facts are from all the tests.
They're not sure that it's malignant yet. In other words.
Yeah, they say it's 80% yes and 20% no. They want to make sure.
Okay, I know.
I
At
said
your age, they probably want to be sure before they operate. You,
so. They want to get all the facts taken care of before they go in. I'm working with the VA for Palm Beach. They're pretty good up there,
yeah.
and I the good thing about them is that they all know each other. So I don't have 10 different doctors talking to 10
Yeah.
that don't talk to each other. They're on the same computer,
Right.
and they work together all week long. So they there's better communications, and that's what I would prefer.
Yeah.
I also have doctors outside of that, but those doctors are one. This is like a whole team.
Right. Mm.
They're tied together. So, I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but I am retired military.
Yeah, I know you told me that.
Yeah,
Well,
so,
hopefully everything turns out okay.
yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I think
Well,
you may be older than me. I think I was
all
just 79, October 14th.
right, you're a kid. I'm 85.
I know. I realized you were up there in the 80s.
My next birthday will be 86.
Uh,
I
the
just had my birthday, so I have nothing to complain about,
yeah,
and I've been very lucky. I've made it this far, and I hopefully I'll make it the rest of the way.
yeah. The old guy who comes in, David Jones, the guy from England, David. He comes in usually later. He's 87. He still has a strong voice yet.
Yeah,
He's 87, David.
I'm holding up, so thank God. And today I'm going to have fun. I have both my guitars being uh, cleaned and tuned and restrung. I do it once. I do my own tuning, but every once a year I bring it in and have a look see. So I bought a long time ago an $80 Japanese guitar. So I don't think anybody will even know it's a good or a bad guitar, but that's what I'm going to use today.
Okay, okay. Kathleen is coming in. Our British people are coming in now.
And hopefully every once in a while I'll introduce you to a new song.
Okay, let me write down the order of the performance. Maury isn't going to be here today. He has a memorial service for his
Hi.
brother-in-law who died of COVID. How
Oh,
do you, Kathleen?
Hi.
What time
sorry.
is it in England? Yeah, you changed the clock this week.
Yeah, it's 6 o'clock. I didn't realise. I thought we both changed, but it's just us. So it's
Oh,
6 o'clock.
we're changing next week. We're changing.
Oh right.
So it's 6 o'clock there. Okay. Okay. I had a nice clip where I put it on the club page of Tony, Mike, and Bill, singing as a trio yesterday.
That's right. Yeah, that's
I,
right. I
I put
saw
it up,
that. It was very good.
yeah, I put it up on the guitar on the club page. Okay.
Yes, I hope Bill and Martin know about the time.
Yeah, well, Bill wasn't sure whether it was 8 o'clock or 6 o'clock.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I was trying to work it out in my head. I don't know why. It's just so ridiculous not to be able to work it out. I don't know.
I know when you turn back the other way, in the spring, then it becomes it's like 2 weeks. We're 2 weeks behind you.
Oh right.
Here's only going to be 1 week.
And it's all the clocks around the house gradually have to get changed.
Right. Okay, Bob and Susan are coming in now. Maury
Oh,
won't
good.
be here today. And I
Uh,
think that uh, Pat and Harvey are still in in Jamaica yet.
Oh, great. Good for them.
They're
Hi.
celebrating their 35th wedding anniversary. Okay. Oh, everybody's coming in now here. Okay.
Hi, Kathy.
Hiya.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, Bob?
Pretty good. And yourself?
All right, made it one more day. I looked in the obituary. I wasn't there, so I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, that's what the Weavers used to say. Yeah, yeah.
I used to go see them when they were in Carnegie Hall,
Oh yeah.
and
Good old days.
there's still two players here that I know of that used to be with him on that Hudson River project for the last 20 years, Vinny and Mel. And they could write a whole book about their adventures with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I just knew of Pete, you know, and we crossed his path many times.
Okay. By the way, in England, they already changed the clock, so it's 6 o'clock over there. Next week will be the same time again. Okay, Bill is coming in now.
We don't change them here.
That's right, Arizona. You're out of the mix. Yeah.
Out of them. We have to adjust though.
Well, the Brits gave us all the time changes. They're the ones that gave us the gift. You know, there's a society called the Longitudinal Society that made that clock a 24-hour clock. And the very 2-minute history is that they, in the 1700s or the early 1800s, they had a problem insuring the ships, you know, Lloyd's of London, and the Royal Academy of Science put out a reward to see if they can make a clock that can tell, because the pendulums didn't work on a ship. So they were sailing at the wrong times on the tide. And the king sponsored it along with them. And a carpenter, it took him about 20 years, actually devised a longitude with 24 slices in on it, which is the 24 hours in a day. And it's a very interesting story. And anyway, that's why we got 24 hours in a day, because
Thanks,
you're not going to tell the time wherever you are in the world. So if you say 2400, it's the same as 12 o'clock, except that it might be PM instead of AM. Or 2300, which would be 11 o'clock in one part of the world, and at night it would be 2300. So now you know when the tide is going to change. Aren't you lucky you heard this conversation?
I love stuff like this.
Okay, Carol and Peter are coming in now.
Mhm. That's still not funny, this time change. So here we are. It's 6 o'clock in the afternoon here, and it's pitch black, black as a witch's hat outside. It is like the middle of the night.
It is the season for the witch. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Susan and I are in black today.
Our
Same with
Halloween
Bill.
stuff.
Yeah.
By the way, Bill, does Mike know of the change?
Mm.
Mike, does he know of the change?
Oh, I'm sure he should do. He's a little bit clever at working things out on his fingers than I am. So if I've got here, I'm sure he'll know what the time is. While you're there, Sol, can I just say to you,
Yeah.
all the COVID restrictions and everything, I think you're absolutely right in how you're tackling it. And just heard yesterday, another of our real stalwarts of the folk scene caught COVID. And that was at a music festival in the middle of October. He's died, and he is a real stalwart. Pete Collins, if anybody knows him, I doubt if they do, Big Pete. But there are at least 3 other people that I've been speaking to. Each one managed to get a touch of the COVID from this one event. They've all got symptoms, but Big Pete was the only one that was serious, and we've lost a real good pal there. But every one of them had been double jabbed. So still need for precautions. Still need to keep your ear to the ground and see where this thing's travelling. And yeah, you can't just pretend it doesn't exist and swan along in your own sweet way, because it's still stomping around us. So I think you're right in how you're tackling it, myself.
Yeah,
You
well,
know, because,
we both got our third
Reminder.
shot
yeah,
Monday, so
yeah, that's right. So that could make a big difference. But
we're still going to wear
yeah,
masks when we go into a
Yeah,
crowded
yeah,
area.
I still think we're losing 1,200 a day here in America.
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's right. As I say, we've lost some good people just yesterday,
Every
and
day. Every day.
that was from all singing together, having a lovely time in the middle of October indoors. I don't know what precautions they took, but there's about 4 people that I know personally that have all got it, and one of them's dead now. So you are right in being careful.
Yeah, Stuart, you look
Where
very
was that,
cold.
Bill? Where
Stuart,
was
can you
that?
hear me?
Yes,
You
can you
may
hear
not know
me?
him, Big Pete Collins. You may have seen him at Whitby or any of the big festivals. He's ever so
No, no.
no, ever so well known on the folk circuit.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Paul, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. What's the temperature up in the Catskills now?
It's about 52.
Yeah, we're still in the 80s here in Florida.
Saul, I hate you.
Yeah, me too. It's cold.
Okay,
It's not 52, but it's in the 50s here.
okay. It looks like Murray is not going to be here today because he has a memorial service for his brother-in-law who died of COVID. He was only 70 when he died.
mm,
Strong guy. And let me see what else. Pat and Harvey are still in Jamaica celebrating their 35th wedding anniversary, so they won't be here today. But hopefully, some more people will join us. So let me give you the order of you'll be singing in the order of when you came in. So Carl was first, Kathleen was second, Bob and Susan will be third, Debbie and Ron fourth, Bob Winkler fifth, Bill Pardon sixth, Carol and Peter will be seventh, Lonnie is eighth, Stuart Kback will be nine, and Mike Reeves is 10. Okay, so that's the order. And if anybody else comes in, they'll go after Mike, and I always go last. So for those who don't come in often, let me just remind you of the rules. When everybody sings, when anybody sings other than you, you mute. And between the songs, you can unmute to clap. You have to make sure you mute again when the next person starts singing. People who are couples, who both perform, they get two turns. So it's one turn per person. If you happen to be two people, each one gets a turn. Okay, so with that, it looks like we have a minion. We can start. And Carl, you kick us off, and everybody else will mute, please.
Rain, sorry. Rain came down on the chimney. Old age. Little bird, come sit upon my windowsill. Sat there through the falling rain. I sat there and I watched that little bird. Songs of love go by once again. And it's a picture of my face on the window pane. Is it tears I see, or is it rain? Yeah, remember how we laughed before we said goodbye. Don't you know this world outside this door? And many things go many ways, like birds in the wind, like birds that fly in the wind. Till a rainy day made me think as the years go tumbling by, I wonder how you look. I wonder if you ever seen that bird. I wonder if he flew upon your windowsill. Wonder if you'll ever hear these words. And it's picture of my face on the window pane. Is it tears I see, or is it rain? Is it tears I see, or is it rain?
Thank you, Carl. Next we go across the town to England and Kathleen.
That's a lovely song. Who's that song by?
Unmute.
Jerry Jeff Walker.
Okay.
Oh, right, okay. It's a nice song anyway.
And I'm gonna, the next one I do, if I get to do a second one, will be by the same guy, Jerry Jeff Walker.
Okay.
Right, okay.
Okay, Kathleen.
I'm only going to do one tonight because the other one I'm trying to learn. I just can't get right at the moment. So I'm glad I'm early because I'm always worried someone else is going to do my song and then I've had it because I can't do it. I can't say, oh, I'll do this one instead. So this is a Kate Wolf song, one of her early ones, I think, Red Tail Hawk. A red-tailed hawk writes songs across the sky. There's music in the waters flowing by, and you can hear a song each time the wind sighs in the golden rolling hills of California. In the golden rolling hills of California. It's been so long, love, since you said goodbye. Our cabin's been as lonesome as a cry. But there's comfort in the clouds drifting by. In the golden rolling hills of California. In the golden rolling hills of California. A neighbour came today to lend a hand. He saw I'd fix the road as best I can. It's just something that needs another's hand. In the golden rolling hills of California. In the golden rolling hills of California. A red-tailed hawk writes songs across the sky. There's music in the waters flowing by. You can hear a song each time the wind sighs. In the golden rolling hills of California. In the golden rolling hills of California.
Thank you, Kathleen. And then we're back to Florida and Bob and Susan.
Hey, well, it's Halloween here. We Gelbs always make a big deal out of it. Back in the day, this guy who always says, I don't have any artistic ability, would win first prize at the big thing that we had in Nyack every year. Crazy costumes. Anyhow, we both actually tried to think about songs that would be appropriate for Halloween today, and I thought I'd leave with her head tucked underneath her arm for you lot across the ocean. It's more yours than ours. So I figured as long as it was dark and it had dead people in it, it would be appropriate for today. So I'm going to do Polly Vaughn. I shall tell you of a hunter whose life was undone at the cruel hand of evil at the setting of the sun. His arrow was loosed and it flew through the dark. His true love was slain as the shaft found its mark. She'd her apron wrapped about her, and he took her for a swan. And it's oh, and alas, it was she, Polly Vaughn. He ran up beside her and found it was she. He turned away his head, for he could not bear to see. He lifted her up and found she was dead, a fountain of tears for his true love he shed. She'd her apron wrapped about her, and he took her for a swan. And it's so, and alas, it was she, Polly Vaughn. He bore her away to his home by the sea, saying, Father, oh Father, I've murdered poor Polly. I've killed my true love in the flower of her life. I've always intended that she be my wife. She'd her apron wrapped about her, and he took her for a swan. And it's so, and alas, it was she, Polly Vaughn. He went to the place where his true love was slain. He wept bitter tears, but his tears were all in vain. He looked on the lake, and a swan floated by. The sun slowly sank in the gray of the sky. She'd her apron wrapped about her, and he took her for a swan. And it's so, and alas, it was she, Polly Vaughn.
Hey, Susan. Okay, Bob, what do you got for us today?
Okay, well, I'm not going to do Halloween songs. Actually, I'm not going to do anything new. I've had a little sore arm for a couple of weeks, and so I'm just going to do some, some of my favorites, I guess. And this one is the one I do that was written by Rod McDonald, and he actually lives one town over from us here in Delray, but he actually came from the New York Greenwich Village music scene up there with Dave Von Ronk and all those guys. But he moved down here a bunch of years ago to be with his mother in the end of her life. And he's stayed down here, but he's still connected up there. And he's been doing some free concerts Sunday evenings on Zoom. And he writes a lot of story songs. I don't know how he keeps all those words in his head, but anyway, I'm going to do one called So Many Songs. And I actually wrote a verse to this at the end. And it talks about when we all used to sing in a circle, because when I wrote it, that's what we were doing. But here goes. How in the world there be so many songs, so many birds to fly on their own wings. It must be to each, there's a heart that it belongs. Everybody's got their own song to sing. My good friend in New York sits alone up in his room, writing symphonies the whole world ought to hear. And a woman that I love flies to European soil, trying to find her own music over there. And me, I sing a song, still looking for a home, oh, a chapel where my freedom bell can ring. Someone to recognize me as her only one, but everybody's got their own song to sing. Oh, I see myself and wonder, am I a selfish man? Can I hear the sound of another hard string? And I kiss 1,000 lips, all I ever understand is everybody's got their own song to sing. And what if we ran out of songs? Where do they all come from? Are we all part of some orchestra out there? If I sing in the forest and the wind takes it along, is there anyone to hear it anywhere? You can walk along the city street on any summer night, see the faces yearn for what they've never known. I see a woman and a man and a child by their side, and I smile at them, go my way alone. And you with your piano and I with my guitar, let us make a gift of what our music brings. I know we are two voices in one choir. Everybody's got their own song to sing. And I've been making music for all of my life, sang in choruses and in taverns with my wife. Now here I am in Florida, in the essence of my days, in a circle where the music that I bring, and everyone is different, and yet we're all the same, and everybody's got their own song to sing. And you with your piano and I with my guitar, let us make a gift of what our music brings. And I know we are two voices in one choir. Everybody's got their own song to sing. Everybody's got their own song to sing.
We're going to go from Florida up to the cold north. Debbie and Ron in Queens.
All right,
I never heard that song
right,
from
From
Rod
Rod.
McDonald.
I don't know
We're
how
familiar with quite a few of
Yeah.
his songs.
right. Certainly all this old stuff from the speakeasy days long ago. Okay.
Anyway, one of the problems with these things is that when you're playing something, God laughs, as we say. Man plans, God laughs. And what happened last week was when I found out that Anna and Ray were model railroaders, I just about had a cow. And so I decided I was going to do a train song, but they're not here. So I have to do something else. So what I'm going to do is a song by Utah Phillips, which is also the author of the train song, but I'm not going to do that. About life on the prairie back in the cowboy days. The old woman being a cowboy who's too old to ride anymore, and now he's the camp cook, and they call him the old woman. Too old to wrangle or ride on the swing, to meet the triangle and curse everything. If there was a kingdom, then you'd be the king. On the good night trail, on the loving trail, our old woman's lonesome tonight. Your French heart blows like a lone calf. It's a wonder the wind don't tear off your skin. Get in there and blow out the light. With the snake oil, herbs, and your liniment, too, you can do anything that a doctor can do, except find a cure for your own goddamn stew. On the good night trail, on the loving trail, our old woman's lonesome tonight. Your French heart blows like a lone calf. It's a wonder the wind don't tear off your skin. Get in there and blow out the light. The fire's out and the coffee's all gone. Boys are up and we're raising the dawn. Lucky you're still sitting there lost in a song. On the good night trail, on the loving trail, our old one's lonesome tonight. Your French heart blows like a rolling calf. It's a wonder the wind don't tear off your skin. Get in there and blow out the light. Yeah, I know someday that I'll be just the same, wearing an apron instead of a name. But no one can change it and no one's to blame. For the deserts, the brook road, and lizards and sage, easy to look like an old torn out page, tattered and cracked with the colors of age.
I love that
Okay.
one.
Okay, now the next one, is another demonstration of this whole business of unplanned stuff. Now Susan gave us a heart attack.
How do we get out of this?
Right.
We out of all the Halloween songs there are to be sung, she mentioned the one that we had planned to do today.
Right. So you didn't do.
But we got a pass because she didn't do it.
With her head tucked underneath her arm, which was actually first recorded in 1934. And probably most of you know it. So there's a chorus. Let's see, what key is this thing? It's on the banjo. Oh, okay. Let's see. So this is about moaning and murders and misery. So we figured it was good for Halloween. In the Tower of London, large as life, the ghost of Anne Boleyn was taken away. Poor Anne Boleyn was once King Henry's wife, until he made the headsman bob her hair. Yes, he did a wrong so long ago, and she comes up at night to tell him so. With her head tucked underneath her arm, she walks the bloody tower. Oh, with her head tucked underneath her arm at the midnight hour. She comes to haunt King Henry, she means giving him what for. Gadzooks, she's gonna tell him off for having spilt her gore. And just in case the headsman wants to give her an encore, she has her head tucked underneath her arm. With her head tucked underneath her arm, she walks the bloody tower. With her head tucked underneath her arm at the midnight hour. Along the drafty corridors for miles and miles she goes. She often catches cold, poor thing. It's cold there when it blows, and it's awfully awkward for the queen to have to blow her nose. With her head tucked underneath her arm. With her head tucked underneath her arm, she walks the bloody tower. With her head tucked underneath her arm at the midnight hour. Sometimes gay King Henry gives a spread for all his gals and pals, a ghostly queen. The headsman carves the joint and cuts the bread. Then in comes Anne Boleyn to spoil the deed. She holds her head up with a wild war whoop. And Henry cries, don't drop it in the soup. With her head tucked underneath her arm, she walks the bloody tower. With her head tucked underneath her arm at the midnight hour. The sentries think that it's a football that she carries in, and when they've had a feed, they shout, is Arsenal gonna win? They think it's Alec James instead of poor old Anne Boleyn. With her head tucked underneath her arm. With her head tucked underneath her arm, she walks the bloody tower. With her head tucked underneath her arm at the midnight hour. One night she caught King Henry, he was in the canteen bar. Said he, are you Jane Seymour? Anne Boleyn
Lynn or Catherine Parr. For how the sweet sand fairy Ann, do I know who you are? With your head tucked underneath your arm, with your head tucked underneath her arm, she walks the funny tower. With her head tucked underneath her arm at the midnight hour, time with her head tucked underneath her arm, she walks the funny tower. With her head tucked underneath her arm at the midnight
Hey, thank you, Debbie and Ron. And now go out to Arizona and Bob Winston.
It's good to hear the spirit of Halloween. Chose my words okay. Oh God, we moved here about 10 years ago when we put out Halloween candy. We bought a lot and we ended up eating it ourselves. We're at the end of 2 dirt roads sequentially. And never saw one kid. And then we put up a fence and a gate, and that sealed our fate. Anyway, weather report here is 73 degrees outside, so, and about 20 degrees warmer down in the valley of Phoenix. About this time of year, most people start thinking about someplace a little tropical, I think. Right now, we're still thinking of moving. Anyway, I'll do my best with this song by Rodney Crowell. Voila, an American Dream. Beg your pardon, Mama, what did you say? Mind is drifting on Martin Bay. It's not that I'm interested, you see. Augusta, Georgia's just no place to be. I think Jamaica in the moonlight, sandy beaches drinking rum every night. Got no money, Mama, we can go. Split the difference, go to Coconut Grove. Keep on talking, Mama, I can hear the voice that tickles down inside my ear. I feel a tropical vacation this year might be the answer to this hillbilly beer. Think Jamaica in the moonlight, sandy beaches drinking rum every night. Got no money, Mama, but we can go. I'll split the difference, go to Coconut Grove. Voila, an American dream. We can travel, girl, without any means. It's just as easy as closing your eyes. Dream Jamaica and a big neon sign. Talking, Mama, like the sound goes so good with the rain falling down. I feel the tropical vacation this year might be the answer to this hillbilly beer. Jamaica in the moonlight, sandy beaches drinking rum every night. We got no money, but we can go. Split the difference, go to Coconut Grove. Voila, an American dream. We can travel, girl, without any means. When it's as easy as closing your eyes. In Jamaica, big neon sign.
dig that one, Bob.
Thank you, Bob. So now we're going back across the pond to England, and Bill. By the way,
Right.
Bill, that little clip of you, Tony, and Mike doing that trio yesterday was really nice. We put it up on our club page.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that song before yesterday, but that's another story, isn't it? But, do you know, I brought my train whistle specially because I thought Ron's bound to do a train song today. Wasted. He let me down at the last minute. But, there we are. I'm going to put my hat on for this one. 'Cause, yeah, this is the first time in a long time I think I've actually planned to do something, and I'm going to attempt to do it. So I decided on my way home yesterday that I could remember most of this. And it's the Halloween is the pagan festival of Samhain, which is the new year. It's one of the holiest times in the pagan calendar, and it's a time when the spirit world is at its closest. But you've got all sorts of celebrations. So what I've got is an incantation, and it's if you've got a coven or any sort of gathering coming together, you'll find that they'll possibly have a cauldron, a fire, an altar all set out, certain ceremonies. And this song, this incantation, is like the pagan equivalent of deck of cards. It just reminds people of all the different significant things and how they remember to do everything in the service they're about to perform. So you could have, like, you would tie to twigs all your regrets and sorrows perhaps from the year gone by, because this is the end of the old year and the beginning of the new. And they would all be placed on the altar, and then at the end of the ceremony, they go onto the fire, and all your regrets and sorrows are burnt up and gone with the old year. So that's a nice thing, isn't it? And yeah, there's all sorts of strange things here which I won't go into, but it's just the sort of thing which, if you were a pagan sitting down to get into your Samhain service, then you'd need to think about a few of these things. So I'm going to try and tap my way through it. But if my drum gets a little bit loud and my neighbours getting upset because the fireworks have stopped now, then I might just have to throw my drum away. Here we go. Deep within the dark decaying, deep within the frozen earth, deep beyond the outer fading, root of life, seed of birth. Come, wise woman, welcome, crone, spirit stronger, inner worth. Lord of underworld in darkness, seed of life, root of birth, life in death and still the maiden, new beginnings in the gloom. Life in death and yet the mother, sleeping sun god, secret womb. Down descending, so discovering, now discarding and making room, facing fears and seeking wisdom, fallen sun god, patient womb. Spirit world, be ever closer, gathered up within our girth. Circle cast, embrace the darkness, seed of life and root of birth. Apples, nuts, and cones on altar, water, fire, air, and earth. Invite the dead, descend a deepness, root of life, seed of birth. Away, away, the dead twigs leaving, take unwanted thought and deed. Now the altar next to the fire, seed and root and seed. Toast the dead but undeparted, honor ancient mystic creed. God and goddess and the guardians, seed and root and seed, seed and root and seed sown. So turns the year, Swain. Blessed be all gathered here. That's it.
That's the way to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. And now we're moving back to, I think, Long Island, and Peter and Carol.
Here we are.
Chris,
It says your internet connection is unstable.
well, we can't do anything about that.
It says it's unstable.
That's a satellite problem. usually.
I don't know. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. It said we were unstable. We got a message.
We're unstable, but the satellite is worse.
Okay, I'm gonna do a song by ABBA. I Have a Dream. Actually, I sang this with a friend at a very close friend of ours, Daisy Newell, and she was very active in the folk society down in West Palm Beach, and she was there from the inception of it, and so we sang it. She was also Sephardic, and in her temple, you know, they invited us in, and I sang this with another person, and Pete played his drum.
That's
But Daisy Newell. I have a dream, a song to sing, to help me cope with anything. If you see the music of a fairy tale, you can take the future, even if you fail. I believe in angels, something good in everything I see. I believe in angels, when I know the time is right for me, I'll cross the stream. I have a dream. I have a dream, a fantasy, to help me cope reality. And my destination makes it all worthwhile. Pushing through the darkness, still another mile. I believe in angels, something good in everything I see. I believe in angels, when I know the time is right for me, I'll cross the stream. I have a dream, I'll cross the stream. I have a dream.
Beautiful song. Beautiful song, Carol. You got one more. You ready?
Yes, I think so. Wait a minute, put my glasses on. Okay, this song is called The Last Minstrel Show, and I guess that it was written by Bob Coltman, and it was performed by Gene Redpath. Posters peeling underneath last summer's morning glory vine. Old White had a stump of cigar, an empty bottle of wine. Lay me down Carolina, lay me down. Don't wanna wake up in the morning no more. Sing me one slow, sad song, for this one last old time before they close the minstrel show. Banjo's got a broken string. Don't expect I'll care to fix it now. Don't have so much time to sing. I'm rusty anyhow. Lay me down, Carolina, lay me down. Don't wanna wake up in the morning no more. Sing me one slow, sad song, for this one last old time before they close the minstrel show. Daddy Bones is dead, I guess. You probably don't know or care. Frank and Arch has gone away somewhere, I don't know where. Lay me down, Carolina, lay me down. Don't wanna wake up in the morning no more. Sing me one slow, sad song, for this one last old time before they close the minstrel show. Money and the crowd run out before we left the last town. This old show done played its run and run the curtain down. Lay me down, Carolina, lay me down. Don't wanna wake up in the morning no more. Sing me one slow, sad song, for this one last old time before they close the minstrel show. Don't know where we go from here. Come to that, I just don't care. Maybe we go to a better place, and the minstrel show will be there. Lay me down, Carolina, lay me down. Don't wanna wake up in the morning no more. Sing me one slow, sad song, for this one last old time before they close the minstrel show.
Thank you. I always love that song. Okay, and now we're going back down to Florida and the middle of the Ocala National Forest. Lonnie, you're next, and Stuart, you'll be after Lonnie. Okay?
I know you guys are enjoying yourself down there in the 80 degrees. It's 61 here. So it's definitely getting chillier. I got on Tri-Rail and I was riding. I got on right down around Coconut Grove, and we're going past 14th Street, where where UM is, and this beautiful girl got on. It was amazing. She was just lovely, but the train was kind of full, and I felt very fortunate that she came and sat next to me. And I said, you look pretty sad. What's wrong? You just look really down. She said, well, I just left my analyst. I've been going to this guy now for about 2.5 months, and it just isn't working out at all. And I said, well, sometimes it's really best if you tell your troubles just to a total stranger on a train, She says, well, I'll give it a go. And she told me about all the problems she was having, and she said, and the worst thing about it is that now I can't get turned on unless the man I'm with is a Jewish cowboy. And I said, well, that certainly limits your range down here, in Miami. I said, by the way, would you mind telling me your name? She says, no, my name is Diane Nelson. I said, well, Diane Nelson, it's a real pleasure to meet you. I'm Bucky Goldberg. Yeah, I wish. Happy Samhain, everybody. And I have a couple of Halloween songs, and this one is going to be about some of the dress-up parties that everybody goes to. This time of year, everybody puts a costume on and goes to these parties. And this is about one that's called the Char Ladies Ball. You may talk of your outings, your picnics and parties, your dinners and dances and hoolies and all. But wait till I tell you of the gas that we had on the night that we went to the Char Ladies Ball. I went there as Queen Anne, and I went with my man, who was dressed as a monkey locked up in a cage. There was pirates and pirates and whatnots and Hottentots, stars that you see in the music hall stage. At the Char Ladies Ball, people said one and all, "You're the belle of the ball, Mrs. Mulligan." We had 1 steps and 2 steps, and the devil knows what new steps, swore that we never would be dull again by Dad. We had wine, porter, and Jamesons. We had cocktails and cocoa and all. We had champagne that night, but real pains next morning, the night that we danced at the Char Ladies Ball. There were cowboys and Indians that came from Druncongress, Sweet Francis Street ferries, all diamonds and stars. There was Rum the Roonies as the clock over Moody's, and a telegram boy with a message from Mars. Mary Moore from the lots was the queen of the Scots, with a crown out of Woolworths perched up on her dome. There was young Jimmy Whitehouse, came dressed as a lighthouse in a Camden Street garbo that should have stayed home. At the Char Ladies Ball, people said one and all, "You're the belle of the ball, Mrs. Mulligan." We had 1 steps and 2 steps, and the devil knows what new steps, swore that we never would be dull again by Dad. We had wine, porter, and Jameson. We had cocktails and cocoa and all. We had rumbas and tangos, half sets and fandangos, the night that we danced at the Char Ladies Ball. Mary Ellen O'Rourke was the queen of the dawn. By 1:30 she looked like a real dirty night. Mickey Ferrin to best her came just as a jester, and he burst his balloon and dropped dead at the fright. And little Jack Harrison came as a prophet and tried to convince us that he knew it all. But he bumped into Faust, who was gloriously soused, and the two of them were sunk at the end of the hall. At the Char Ladies Ball, people said one and all, "You're the belle of the ball, Mrs. Mulligan." We had 1 steps and 2 steps, and the devil knows what new steps, swore that we never would be dull again by Dad. We had wine, porter, and Jameson. We had cocktails and cocoa and all. We'd a real knockdown fight, but we fell down to supper the night that we danced at the Char Ladies Ball.
Wonderful.
And there you have it, the Char Ladies Ball. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Now we're going up to the heart of the Borscht Belt, Liberty, New York, in the Catskill Mountains, and Stuart Kavak. Great singer-songwriter.
Yes, the Catskills. Can you hear me okay, Saul? Am I coming through okay?
Yeah, you have like a deep
you're fine.
reverb, like a little bass, a little too much.
All right, let's get rid of some of that. How's that? Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Little goes a long way. All right, so Truth be told, I did not write the song I'm going to do for my wife and myself. Kind of grew into it. The song is called "We Still Like the Words to Our Song." They were playing our song when they asked if we dance. It's been 25 years since we first said I do. We prayed for our future in time with music, raising a family in a house with a view. Now we are dancing a little bit slower. Love we have shared has grown strong. We're playing our music a little bit lower, but we still like the words to our song. Nobody promised it would be easy. There was many a time we had reason to believe you would remind me of all we have been through as you stood by my side with your hand on my sleeve. Now we are dancing a little bit slower. Love we have shared has grown strong. They're playing our music a little bit lower. We still like the words to our song. So you tell me I don't look older. Well, I've seen the gray in my hair. Even though winters are feeling much colder, we have the warmest feelings to share. I'll dim the light, you go put on some music, draw back the curtain for the moon to shine through. Waltzing in moonlight can be so romantic when the song and the dancers sing, I love you. Let's dance.
And now we go back to England and Mike Reeves.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is one that the guest did on Tuesday, and it's a sort of trimmed down or easier version. Biker Hill and Walker Shore were both pits up near Newcastle, I think, and it mentions Gilling in the first line. That's a measure of liquid measure. If I had another penny, I would have another Jill. I would make the piper play the bonny lass of Biker Hill. Biker Hill and Walker Shore, collier lads forevermore. Biker Hill and Walker Shore, collier lads forevermore. It's down the pits we'll go, me marrows, it's down the pits we'll go, me marrows. We'll try our wills and use our skill to cut them ridges down below. Biker Hill and Walker Shore, collier lads forevermore. Biker Hill and Walker Shore, collier lads forevermore. When first I went down to the dirt, I had no trousers nor pit shirt. Now I've gotten 2 or 3, Walker Pit done well by me. Biker Hill and Walker Shore, collier lads forevermore. Biker Hill and Walker Shore, collier lads forevermore. The poor cold cutty gets 2 shillings, the deputy gets half a crown, and the overman gets 5 and 6pence just for riding up and down. Biker Hill and Walker Shore, collier lads forevermore. Biker Hill and Walker Shore, collier lads forevermore. Geordie Johnson had a pig, hit it with a shovel and it danced a jig. All the way to Biker Hill, he danced the Elsie Marley. Biker Hill and Walker Shore, collier lads forevermore. Biker Hill and Walker Shore, collier lads forevermore. Biker Hill and Walker Shore, collier lads forevermore. Biker Hill.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, I guess it's my turn now. What we're going to do is every week I was trying to learn new songs, but tend to forget the old ones sometimes. So I'm going to bring back an old one. This is by Larry Kaplan, and it's called "The Loss of the Bay Rupert." And a little background on this song: when the Europeans came to North America, they were colonizing the place. They formed certain companies like the Hudson Bay Company, which exists today, to trade with the natives. But also, right on their heels came the missionaries, who figured, these people are heathens, they have to be converted to Christianity, and they never really respected the religion and the culture of the natives. And they brought in all the Bibles and everything. And this is a song that talks about what they really thought of people coming in and trying to force their religion on people. It's called "The Loss of the Bay Rupert" by Larry Kaplan. By the way, this song was recorded on Gordon Bach's album together with Adam Mae Muir and Ed Trickett. And Ed promised he will be back with us again next week. He just finished the tour of New Mexico. Okay. Here goes. Oh. Okay, everybody please mute. I see some people are not muted here. I'm going to mute you. Whoever's not muted. Okay. Looks like everybody's muted. Okay. Now the Hudson Bay Company runs its ships in the summertime, and they stock the stores of the Labrador, and they stock them full for the winter time. The Bay Rupert ran in 28, bound down for Baffinland. But to get to Hopedale, don't you know, you'd be better off by land. Chorus. Oh, they got no charts for the Labrador. All that you hear is stay away. There's rocks and ice dark as hell at night from old Jack Plains Way to Brumfield Bay. There's wooden ships, steaming ships. They got frozen men below. There's mountains right beneath York Hill. So for God's sake, don't you go. She had shoes and coffee, boots and tea. She had butter pipes and bridles, sleeping bags and saddle soap, and a dozen score of Bibles. She was wide, pushing through the tide, when she hit that granite rock. With a mighty sound, both ends went down, and her middle opened up. Oh, they got no charts for the Labrador. All you hear is stay away. There's rocks and ice dark and hell as hell at night. From old Jack Plains Way to Brumfield Bay, there's wooden ships, steaming ships. They got frozen men below. There's mountains right beneath York Hill. So for God's sake, don't you go. It was Sunday when that ship went down, and the town was all at prayer. But no missionary minister or the word of God could have kept them there. All's lost, all's lost, the captain cried, and I'll never sail no more. All's found, cried the Eskimos as they waited by the shore. Oh, they got no charts for the Labrador. All you hear is stay away. There's rocks and ice dark as hell at night from old Jack Plains Way to Brumfield Bay. There's wooden ships, steaming ships. They got frozen men below. There's mountains right beneath York Hill. So for God's sake, don't you go. Well, the tide came in, and the goods did too, and they saved them from the sea. And they said it's great doing business with the Hudson Bay Company. We got shoes and coffee, boots and tea. We got butter, pipes and bridles, sleeping bags and saddle soap. But to hell with all them Bibles. Oh, they got those charts for the Labrador. All you hear is stay away. There's rocks and ice dark as hell at night from old Black Jack Plains Way to Brumfield Bay. There's wooden ships, steaming ships. They got frozen men below. There's mountains right beneath York Hill. So for God's sake, don't you go. Larry Kaplan. Okay, and with that, we finished the first go around. We're going to start the second round again. We're right on schedule here. So I understand, let's see, Carl is Carl still with? Yeah. Okay, so you start again, and Kathleen said you will not be performing on the second one. Okay, Carl, the floor is all yours. Can you hear me?
Turn yourself on.
Carl seems to be frozen.
We can hear him.
You can hear Carl? I can't hear him. Carl, I think his internet went out.
Oh no, it's frozen now. Yeah, completely.
Yeah. Okay, Carl, if you can hear me, we will get back to you. We will go to our... Now he's out completely. Okay, we're going to go... I think the next was Kathleen is not performing, so we're going to go to Bob and Susan, and then hopefully Carl will come back in, and his internet will be good. Okay, so Bob and Susan, you're next.
Okie dokie. So here's another dark song about dead people that I learned a long time ago from Joan Baez, but a lot of people have done it, including Mick Jagger, which always kind of blew my mind. Anyhow, here we go. 10 years ago, on a cold, dark night, someone was killed beneath the town hall light. The people who saw, they all agreed that the slave
like me. The judge said, son, what is your alibi? If you were somewhere else, then you won't have to die. I spoke not a word, though it meant my life, for I'd been in the arms of my best friend's wife. She walks these hills in a long black veil, visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. The scaffold is high, eternity near. She stands in the crowd, sheds not a tear. But sometimes at night, when the cold winds moan in a long black veil, she comes crying o'er my bones. She walks these hills in a long black veil, visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. Nobody knows but me.
By the way, Carl, you were out when your turn came out, so you're gonna go next after Bob, okay? So just so you know,
Okay.
yeah.
I just
Righty.
realized the song I'm gonna sing does have a dead person in it.
Oh, nice. Good.
Her,
Hey.
the gal who sings this, she's singing about her grandfather that just passed away. But I'll tell you a little, kind of a Halloween story. Long time ago, when Susan and I were in our hippie stage, we were friends with Bob Pickett, better known as Bobby Boris Pickett, and his wife. And he's wrote the Monster Mash and sang it. And he lived in Lower Manhattan, near town, near City Hall, in one of those buildings. The ceiling must have been, I don't know, 50 feet high or something, and they had
A loft.
Yeah, a loft, and they had a swing in there, and we used to swing on that swing and sing folk, because he was a folk singer. He just happened to write this Monster Mash thing, and he made a terrible deal, like a lot of people did back then. I think he got $3,000 for it, if I remember correctly. But then it got revived on Dick Clark's, the show that he had with all the kids dancing and stuff. And all of a sudden, the Monster Mash became a big hit again. And so he made some money off of that. And we lost touch for a long time. And then he was in Venice, California, and he passed away. Anyway, that's my Halloween story, remembering Bob Pickett. Leaves are falling, turning to showers of gold, as the postman climbs up our long hill. And there's sympathy written all over his face as he hands me a couple more bills. And who will watch the home place? Who will tend my heart's dear space? Who will fill my empty place? lovely green nook by a clear running stream. It was my place when I was quite small, and its creatures and sounds could soothe my worst pain. But today they don't ease me at all. Who will watch my home place? Who will tend my heart's dear space? Who will fill my empty place when I am gone from here? In my grandfather's shed, there are hundreds of tools. I know them by feel and by name. And like parts of my body, they patch this old place. When I move them, they won't be the same. Oh, and who will watch the home place? Who will tend my heart's dear space? Who will fill my empty place when I am gone from here? Now I wander around, touching each blessed thing, the chimney, the tables, the trees, and my memories swirl around me like birds on the wing. When I leave here, oh, who will I be? And who will watch the home place? Who will tend my heart's dear space? Who will fill my empty place when I am gone from here? It was written by Kate Long.
And made famous by Laurie Lewis.
Mm.
Okay, now, Carl, you're going to get your chance now. Oh, you're not frozen again.
No.
Looks like Carl froze.
Oh, yeah, it's frozen again.
Wow.
Carl, can you come back in? I don't. This is the second time he got frozen. Okay, we'll just have to go. We'll have. Okay, so let's see if we can come right in. Carl,
there he is.
you're okay now. Okay, unmute so we can hear you. Unmute. Okay, you go now.
I guess I didn't pay my Florida bill. Listen, I said I would do a Jerry Jeff Walker song, but because of all the lack of billing going on here, I'm going to change to John Prine. Maybe I'll have better luck. My apologies. It's called Summer's End. One of the last few songs he did before he passed on. I miss him terribly. Summer's End. Summer's End around the benches flying. The swimming suits are on the line just drying. I'll meet you there per our conversation. I hope I didn't ruin your whole vacation. Well, you never know how far from home you're feeling until you watch the shadows cross the ceiling. Well, I don't know, but I can see it snowing. In your car, the windows are wide open. Come on home, come on home. No, you don't. Valentines break hearts and minds at random. That old Easter egg ain't got a leg to stand on. Well, I can see you can't win but try. And New Year's Eve is bound to leave you crying. Come on home, come on home. No, you don't have to be alone. Just come on home. The moon and stars hang out in bars just talking. I still love that picture of us walking. Just like that old house we thought was haunted. Summers end came fast and then we wanted. Come on home, come on home. No, you don't have to be alone. Just come on home, come on home, come on home. No, you don't have to be alone. Just come on home.
Thank you, Carl. Okay, now we'll go back to the same order. We got to take Carl out of order because his internet froze. Yeah, okay, so I think Ron and Debbie, I believe you're the next ones.
Okay,
We got bounced out for a couple of seconds, but right back in.
twice, a couple of times.
But for anybody who's got those messages that your internet's unstable or you keep freezing, we found that an Ethernet cable makes it much better. I don't know why we bounced out at all, but that makes the connection solid. You plug it into your router and then into your computer, and you don't have to worry about the rest. But anyhow, Ron is
Okay,
Ron's first.
I was going to do a song that nobody has ever heard, which begs the question, where did I hear it? Well, Bill Pardon just did it. So now I got to figure out something else. So in the great tradition, I'm going to steal another one from Bob and Susan. That's, I like to rise when the sun she rises early in the morning. And I like to hear them small birds singing merrily upon their lay-land. And hurrah for the life of a country boy, and to ramble in the new mown hay. In spring we sow, at the harvest mow, and that is how the seasons round they go. But of all the times, if choose I may, I'd be rambling in the new mown hay. For I like to rise when the sun she rises early in the morning. And I like to hear them small birds singing merrily upon their lay-land. And hurrah for the life of a country boy, and to ramble in the new mown hay. In summer when the sun is hot, we sing and we dance and we drink a lot. We spend all night in sport and play, and go rambling in the new mown hay. 'Cause I like to rise when the sun she rises early in the morning. And I like to hear them small birds singing merrily upon their lay-land. And hurrah for the life of a country boy, and to ramble in the new mown hay. In autumn when the oak trees turn, we gather all the wood that's fit to burn. We cut and slash and stow away, and go rambling in the new mown hay. In the winter when the sky is gray, we hedge and ditch our times away. But in the summer when the sun shines gay, we go rambling to the new mown hay. And I like to rise when the sun she rises early in the morning. And I like to hear them small birds singing merrily upon their leyland. And hurrah for the life of a country boy, and go rambling in the new mown hay.
We got the yip at the end.
Okay.
All
now-
right. So now what do we have? I need a mandolin. All right, where are you, Bill? All right, Bill. You can take out your train whistle here. We're gonna do, got rid of the other songs. We're gonna do, it's a gospel song, but many of those songs are about taking the train up to heaven. So we've got one of them.
Yes, and if you don't like it, remember, it's your own fault.
All right. Oops. Key of A. Railway to Heaven.
used to sing "Keep Your Eyes Upon the Dollar."
Yes, that was a
Your hand
parody from
upon the
this. This was the
scale.
original, right? That's the miner's lifeguard.
Right,
He
Right.
also sing next time.
yeah. Okay,
I think it's
Bob,
keep your hand
Not just
upon
Bill
the
doesn't do it
throttle.
first.
what was that? Donna, what was that?
It's your hand upon the throttle, not the dollar.
Oh, yeah, no, that
Your
was,
hand upon the
there's two
throttle
different,
and your eyes upon the rail.
yeah, but there are two
Right,
different versions
that's
of the
this.
song.
Right, that's
Okay.
that's the gospel song that we just did. But there's a new one written about the miners, which was same
Uses
tune. Same
that
tune.
tune.
Pete Seeger sang it.
Yeah, we'll do it next week.
Yeah, okay, Bob Winkler in Arizona, next.
Thank you, thank you. I really like Saul's song too. I'm going to try to get the title on that at some point. Anyway, need more songs like that. This song, "The Morning Side of the Mountain," I was pretty sure no one was going to do that. I didn't have to worry about it. It was on. It goes back to the late '50s, and it was on the flip side of a more popular song, "Please, Mr. Sun." But it was made famous by Donnie and Marie, if you remember those two. So I'm sitting here with it in front of me, and I darn well knew that it was not going to be done by anyone else. Last time I did this was back in 2018. Anyway, so I thought this was done, and I looked it up while you guys were playing to get the provenance on this. But I actually thought for years and years and years it was done by a very, very young Michael Jackson for the movie Ben, which goes way, way back. But it wasn't. So, and that's why I've liked it all these years. But no, Donnie and Marie. There was a girl, there was a boy. If they had met, there might have been a world of joy. But he lived on the morning side of the mountain, and she lived on the twilight side of the hill. They never met, they never kissed, and they will never know what happiness they missed. For he lived on the twilight side of the mountain, and she lived on the twilight side of the hill. For love's a rose that never grows without the kiss of the morning dew. For every Jack must have a Jill to know the thrill of a dream come true. And you and I are just like they. No, our love is just a kiss away. But you are on the morning side of the mountain, and I am on the twilight side of the hill. There was a girl, there was a boy. That's it.
Thank you, Bob. Now back to England and Bill.
Right. I'm going to attempt to play an ancient Yorkshire sword dance tune, and that's called The Old Wife of Coverdale. And we've got a guy called Paul Davenport who decided, because he's an expert on traditional dance and traditional song, he thought he would nick the words from The Wife of Usher's Well, convert them to The Old Wife of Coverdale, and put a tune to the, I'll put song to the tune. So normally when I do this live, I'll sing his little song, and then at the end of it, I'll do another burst of sword dance, to show I can multitask, I will dance and encourage people in the audience to get up and dance, which sometimes they do, mainly because my dancing is so terrible, they'll do anything as a distraction. But so if any of you do want to get up and kick your shoes off and take your clothes off and do an ancient Yorkshire sword dance, please feel free when we get to that bit. And the main thing about the Wife of Usher's Wealth story is repeated in so many old folk songs. It doesn't do to grieve too long after somebody has passed, because they can't settle in their next life. And many of the old folk songs normally put a time limit of a year and a day. And if you don't leave their graveside by then, they will suffer for it. So, yeah, the old wife of Coverdale, perhaps. There lived an old wife in Coverdale, merrily turns the wheel. There lived an old wife in Coverdale, children she had 3. She sent them away to the northern land, she sent them away for to learn their grammary. Sad news came to her at Martinmas, merrily turns the wheel. Her children had sickened and died, and buried they were all 3. My curse on the moon and the stars, she cried. My curse upon God, he that took them away from me. The moon it rose high in Coverdale, merrily turns the wheel. The old woman wept bitter tears as she lay in her narrow bed. And there in the doorway her children stood. Their hats were of birch and their eyes as grey as lead. She arose to prepare a feast for them, merrily turns the wheel. And all the while her tears down fell, so bitterly she did weep. We want none of your meat, nor your ale, mother, but let us return to our graves for to take our sleep. The cock it crows loud in Coverdale, merrily turns the wheel. The sun it rose as red as blood, and the moon it fled to the west. The worm it is calling us home, mother, and all of your tears they will not let us rest. So dance. There was some very average participation there. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Okay, Carol and Peter, are you ready?
We ready?
Go ahead, sure.
Okay, we'll do.
Your time to shine.
Are you in the picture, or do you have to
No,
go
I
to
don't
the one
know.
to your left?
What?
Or do you have to?
She's in the picture. She's in the picture.
Okay, I'm going to do Patsy Cline, Walking After Midnight. I go out walking after midnight, out in this moonlight, just like we used to do. I'm always walking after midnight, searching for you. I walk for miles Fall to sleep.
You got one more, Carol.
Saul went to sleep.
You got one more.
One more song. Okay. All right, I'll do.
I just want.
Sorry.
I don't know how you get it out of an ambulance.
You, Hank Williams, did this before, I know. What am I doing? I'm doing. Goodbye, Joe. You gotta go, me oh my oh. You gotta go, hold the hero down the bayou. My fine, sweetest one, me oh my oh. Son of a gun, we'll have big fun on the bayou. Jambalaya, crawfish pie, filet gumbo. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna see my Michelle Romeo. Get guitar, fiddle, jar, and big gale. Son of a gun, we'll have big fun on the bayou. But you're fun to know, the place is buzzing. Kinfolk come to see Yvonne by the dozen. Dress in style, go hog wild, me oh my oh. Son of a gun, we'll have big fun on the bayou. Jambalaya and a crawfish pie and a filet gumbo. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna see my Michelle Romeo. Big guitar, fiddle, jar, and big ale. Son of a gun, we'll have big fun on the bayou. Son of a gun, we'll have big fun on the bayou.
Thank you, Carol and Peter, and now Lonnie.
Yeah, I think I've figured out why everybody's having so much trouble with sound today. There's a major solar ejection, coronal ejection that happened about 30 hours ago, and it's just about getting here now. So it disturbs any sort of electronic communication. So that's why we're having a problem with that. You know, I've been watching this thing now for, I don't know, maybe 7 weeks or so, and I finally figured out something today, and that is that you can actually set it up so you can see the entire group if you just click the right button on your computer. Everybody's there. And I think I'd like to make a motion that we should call this the Zellerwood Squares. Because, well, that's what it is, basically. The other thing I discovered was that when I first saw it, I couldn't understand why Saul was photographing everybody from the back. You know, when I first turned it on, it was right before my last song, and then it hit me. What was happening was everybody was getting up and leaving the room while I was singing, you know, except for the people who were asleep, and you know they of course stayed there. Anyway, okay, now having done my 2 bad jokes, I'm going to do a song that is very, very new. I mean, really seriously new. And it's Halloween at Firestone. It goes like this. I know we all have memories, some are best left behind. They come when we least expect them, and it takes us back in time. Most have ragged edges, few resemble precious stones. If we can hold them in our hand, they'll mostly like take us home. I remember a boy near Harbell, he was only 4 years old, and the trees on the plantation turning yellow, red, and gold. One morning, just like magic, there were diamonds all around, glistening on the rainbow leaves planted in the ground. Do you have a favorite memory? Here is one of mine. Halloween at Firestone, 1949. I was watching shadows on the wall one night, listening to the wind, and I barely drifted off to sleep. My parents woke me up again. Sandman left the room with a great big baggy yawn. That kitchen knife was so very bright, I wonder what was going on. A big red jelly bean touched my lips, but I did not get a taste. Mom painted Emmett Kelly's sad sack smile all over my face. Daddy laced and tied my shoes, and he did 'em up real good. Threw me into my winter coat, the warm one with a hood. And Mom held up the mirror, said, "Lonnie, what do you see? There's a strange little kid in my favorite coat, staring right back at me. Do you have a favorite memory? Here is one of mine. Halloween at Firestone, 1949. They handed me an empty grocery bag. I said, "What is this thing for?" "Trick or treat," came the reply, and they opened up the front door. A strange old lady on a broomstick just then went cackling by, and my mouth dropping open in a great big O. I couldn't believe my eyes. There wasn't time to wonder, gales of laughter filled the night, and my dad and me were swept out to the porch. I held on with all my might. The wind blew those hobgoblins up and down the street, and Daddy knocking on the doors, he'd holler, "Trick or treat." The doors would swing right open when Daddy said that phrase. I had an apple and some cookies and some candy corn and a couple of Milky Ways. Do you have a favorite memory? Well, here is one of mine. Halloween at Firestone, 1949. Spent some nickels down at USTC, it was just a few doors down. I got a big dill pickle on a stick, gosh, it must have weighed a pound. There were jack-o'-lanterns everywhere, their eyes were burning bright. There was nothing really spooky at all I recall about that night. I know some people call it an unholy holiday, a satanic celebration. I don't remember it that way. I remember Mom's big red jelly bean, my dad's huge held me tight. Their love made magic happen to me that windy October night. Their love made magic happen to me on that windy October night. Do you have a favorite memory? Well, here is one of mine. Halloween at Firestone, 1949. Halloween at Firestone, 1949.
I love that. I love that.
Thank you very much for that. And thanks for having me here on Zellerwood Squares.
Bonnie, I think that song was actually autobiographical. Your father was the president of the Firestone Rubber Company. Is that true?
Yeah, but at the time he wasn't. At that time we were on the plantation in West Africa, which is where I was born and raised. And unfortunately, they promoted him and sent him back to Akron, Ohio, which is a real downer. And I went to school. Went to boarding schools mostly. Like the big joke I told last week for my friends from the UK, that I attended this really, really fancy boarding school in Kent called Borstal, And for those of you from the States, Borstal is a reform school, and it was for people who didn't get along well in society. But I told them I escaped to Switzerland, which I actually did. So anyway, I don't want to take up the time. Thanks very much for listening.
Okay, thank you, Lonnie. It's always a pleasure to hear you. Mike, you're next. And then after that is Donna. And then after Donna will be Steve Einbinder, who just joined us. So and then me. Okay, we're
Can I
coming to
make
the
a
end.
request?
Yes.
Okay, I got my dog here. I just got in from my mom's, and I'm leaving for Canada at 4 o'clock in the morning. I got so much to do. Can I go first? Because I got to take the dog out. She's asking me to go.
Okay. Mike says it's okay, so go
Okay,
ahead.
thanks very much.
Okay, so Mike will go after, and then Steve. Okay.
I'm so sorry. I'll try to come back and see what happens here. See what
We
the
always
dog
try to
says.
accommodate people.
Okay, you never heard this song before because because I wrote it when I was around 18 or 19 years old. So and I think I've only played it maybe once or twice, but not here. So kind old man, there's a future ahead that knows not of the curse of death. All is right, there is no wrong. All is life and a pleasant song. So don't think of life as passing away. There is a new life here to stay. At the threshold, fear it not. Your lifetime here is as a dot. For our great God, his great love, he made the mountains, the moon, the dove. He gave his life with his great care to know, to love, with him to share. Great to draw so close to this precious one. The battle is over, the victory's won. At the threshold, fear it not. Your lifetime here is as a dot. To our great God, his great love, he made the mountains, the moon, the dove. He gave his love with his great care to know and love, with him to share. Draw so close to his precious son. The battle is over, the victory's won. The victory's won. The victory's won. That's it. I'm gonna leave this on. I gotta take the dog out, walk around a little bit. She hasn't been out all day. I've been with my mom, and I'll try to get back here and hear some more. What time do you go to?
No, we only go till everybody had two turns, and we're
Oh,
ready.
don't worry about me.
Only 5 minutes we're going to be out.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, good night, Donna. Okay, now we go to Mike Reeves in England.
Right, yeah, this is a silly song, probably a kid's song, but I thought, well, it's a kids' night for us here. Only the kids really celebrate Halloween. So 'twas a sunny day when I went to play down by the sea. I climbed aboard a pirate ship and the captain said to me, we're going this way, that way, forwards, backwards, up and down, over the deep blue sea. 'Twas a windy day when I went to play down by the sea. I climbed aboard a pirate ship and the captain said to me, we're going this way, that way, forwards, backwards, up and down, over the deep blue sea. 'Twas a rainy day when I went to play down by the sea. I climbed aboard a pirate ship and the captain said to me, we're going this way, that way, forwards, backwards, up and down, over the deep blue sea. 'Twas a stormy day when I went to play down by the sea. I climbed aboard a pirate ship and the captain said to me, we're going this way, that way, forwards, backwards, up and down, over the deep blue sea. This way, that way, forwards, backwards, up and down, over the deep blue sea. This way, that way, forwards, backwards, up and down, over the deep blue sea. Over the deep blue sea.
I mean, seasick.
Okay, Mike, thank you, thank you. And now back to Florida, Steve Einbinder.
Yeah. Today I was going to just be along for the ride, but I decided to tell an R-rated poem. We're all adults here. It could be interpreted as a trick or treat free verse poem. One payday, Mr. Goodbar wanted a bit of honey, so he took Miss Hershey behind the powerhouse on the corner of Clark and Fifth Avenue. He began to feel her mounds, and that was pure almond joy which made his Tootsie Roll. He let out a Snickers as his Butterfinger went up her Kit Kat and caused a Milky Way. She screamed, "Oh, Henry," as she squeezed his Peter, Paul, and Zagnuts. Miss Hershey said, "You are even better than the Three Musketeers." Soon she was a bit chunky, and 9 months later she had a baby Ruth.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Steve. Okay, it's time to end the show, so I'm going to do the ultimate. And let me just say, next week, remember, we changed the clock, so England and us will be on equal planes again. So you all have an extra hour of sleep, so you have no excuse for coming late to the show. Okay, we turn it back. Okay, and in around 3 hours, the recording will be up on YouTube on my channel. It'll be up on the Facebook page of the club. Hopefully, I'll put it on the Hoy, and you'll all be able to see the recording. Okay, so we're going to end up with an Irish song. And a lot of Irish songs talk about different girls like Mary, and different like Nancy, but this is going to be about Eileen. And this is a song. I am always light-hearted and easy, not a care in the world have I, for I know I am loved by a Colleen, and I could not forget if I tried. She lives far away over the mountain, where the little birds sing on the trees, in a cottage all covered with ivy, my Eileen is waiting for me. Chorus. It's over the mountain, where the little birds sing on the trees, in a cottage all covered with ivy, my Eileen is waiting for me. The time I bade goodbye to Eileen is a time I will never forget, for the tears bubbled up from their slumbers, I fancy I see them yet. They looked like the pearls in the ocean, as she wept her tale of love, and she said, my dear boy, don't forget me, till we meet here again or above. Well, it's over the mountain, where the little birds sing on the trees, in a cottage all covered with ivy, my Eileen is waiting for me. And it's over the mountain, where the little birds sing on the trees, in a cottage all covered with ivy, my Eileen is waiting for me. Okay, folks, good night.
A nice new look, Bill. I mean,
Yeah, I meant to wear this for my last song. It'd be a shame to waste it, so I thought I'd put it on now.
Please drive carefully. We'll see you next week with the clock changed, okay? So we'll be equal with England next week.
Or your clock changes.
We turned 1 hour back. We go to Eastern Standard Time now.
Yes.
Okay, I know where Bob's in Arizona, they never change the clock, so he has to figure out where they go. Okay, so.
Okay, thank you. Great night. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, the library is not going to open for their own programs until January. If we went in there before in January, we would all have to sing with masks on. which I don't know. I don't want to do. I'm sure other people don't want to do either. So we're not going to be back in the library until January. We'll see what happens as far as any other venues. But right now, we're going to continue here for the foreseeable future. Okay, folks. So
By the
good night,
way,
everybody.
where is Jerry?
What?
Where is Jerry?
Well, last week, I don't know where he is this week. Last week he had a bluegrass gig, but I'm sure he'll be back next week. Whenever he can get
Bye-bye.
away from the grandchildren, he's always here.
It's Jerry Corbell.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we hope to have him back. We hope to have, I know Ed Trickett will be with us. He promised me he'll be back next week. And I know Flavia and Pat should be back from Jamaica from their honeymoon, their second honeymoon, actually. And Murray will be back. Murray had a memorial meeting, prayer service for his brother-in-law who died of COVID. So Murray will be back next week. So hopefully we'll have a full crew. And
Is there any way that we could have more tapes or recordings from the Hoy?
No, because we don't record it. We don't record the actual sessions at the Hoy.
What about the shanty sessions from the pier that you've been recording? I think that's what Lonnie meant.
Yeah, we get the odd. If we do some. If somebody records their outdoor gigs or something like that, then they usually get posted up. But no, the Hoy Folk Club, they don't record that.
Well, I was actually more interested in seeing more of Tony and Bill and you, Mike.
Oh, I see.
Great.
All right. Slán volume.
Okay.
We'll get Teresa to video us when we're doing stuff down the Mayflower.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
I think I've got some videos of the Shanty crew. I'll see if I can find some.
Yeah, if you
I'd
can
appreciate that.
you have permission to post it on the club page, Kathleen.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Okay, folks, good night.
Thank you.
Good
night.
Thank you.
Bye, all.
Next week.
See you next week.
Next week, same time, same station.
Hope you get lots of treats, no tricks.
Yes.
Right.
No
Happy
tricks, no
Halloween.
treats.
No, our time is the same.
Next week.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
That's it.